let's go over some Black Mirror tech in season 6, Loch Henry. What's up, Cyberhawks? So in today's video, we're gonna be going over Loch Henry, some of the tech in this one. This one will be like super quick, I guess, maybe compared to the later episodes. I'm assuming just for the fact that this episode didn't really have too much like new tech like I thought it was going to have, but it was still a great story. Again, we're going to be talking about spoilers on this, so if you guys haven't seen the episode, I definitely recommend you seeing it first. But the main thing on this was these old things here, these VHS tapes. They didn't have Coolie High in the episode, but the prominent, I guess, tech in the episode or these things right here, VHS tapes. If you guys don't know what these are, these were before your DVDs, so you can like watch movies. You can also record stuff as well, and which is funny, I actually used to record a lot of different stuff back when I was a kid, like Dragon Ball Z. I remember recording a lot of Dragon Ball Z, because if you guys didn't know, there was like no recording or like no like DVRs. So to record your stuff, you get a empty VHS tape from the store. Get one of those blue ones. I think they had like 2 packs, maybe 4 packs. I forget. I was like super young. Well, I remember my parents getting those, and then you can like record stuff, and then you can like set your VCR to like record an X amount of time, I believe, at one point, so you didn't have to actually be there to record stuff. But anyway, this old technology was the reason that they end up getting caught on this. Surprisingly, it wasn't newer tech, it was lower tech. If you guys don't know, I guess the premise of this story, or I guess like the big reveal or whatever, was that they were looking, pretty much they were like doing like a documentary on, I forgot how they pronounce it, something Lain Nador or something like that. Pretty much this supposed guy was like kidnapping couples in this town and doing very bad things to them. very bad things before he would end up killing them and whatnot. And then you find out through the VHS tapes that one of the girls was actually looking at, or she was actually converting everything from the VHS analog to digital. I actually have one of those over here. Actually, yeah, literally like right there on the floor. But mine doesn't look as cool as hers. Hers, like, I don't know, hers look like more advanced than the one I have over here. But while the analog version was kind of going on, I believe actually too, I want to say she was trying to clear that tape. I forgot if she was converting that particular VHS tape, or if she was just trying to wipe it. That's when she had like a old program playing, like old 1950s, old 1940s program playing, and then it cut to what they recorded later on that VHS tape, which was like the plot twist, the big plot twist, that you see the old grandma actually being one of the killers, and her husband was also one of the killers, the cop. It kind of reminded me of like I'm not sure you guys know the Toy Box Killer. It kind of reminded me a bit of that, and a bit of some of the other serial killers, kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer and whatnot. But it definitely gave me vibes of the Toy Box Killer, just for the sexual aspect of things that we're doing to the people. So we end up cutting to her, and you see her like younger, and she has on like the red masquerade mask. And then the cop, her husband, is like, hey, the mistress or the missus is about to have fun with you guys. And you see her having fun with the drill, and she's about to go in and drill them and do all type of perverted sexual things with these people, and then kill them. And going back to Toy Box Killer, kind of just reminded me of that, because if you guys don't know, it was like a couple and their daughter, actually. So it was like 3 people. On this one, it was just 2 people doing it. Well, it was 3 people, but it was 2 family members doing it. Toy Box Killer was 3: their mama, the dad, and the daughter. And the daughter would like talk to her classmates in school. I think like in high school. I don't believe she was in junior high. I think she was still in high school. So she would get like the high schoolers come over, and then they would like kidnap them and you know, do all type of sexual things to him and then kill him. So in this one, it kind of just reminded me of like, what if the father died, that like in the toy box killer like scenario, what if the father died but the mother was able to still live and she's trying to hide all of this? You know, like how would she grow? Would anybody suspect her? You know, things of that nature. So that kind of just reminded me of that. But yeah, anyways, this old technology from them having to go through all these VHS tapes to help them out with their video, they were able to find out that the grandma, or not the grandma, but the mom, who was like, she looked like she was maybe like 60 something, maybe 70 something, was actually one of the killers. And then you find out that the son, his two parents were like freaking killers and sexual deviants while they were killing people as well. So yeah, they had like better technology. They could maybe have like a passcode, use some type of DVDs, or maybe not even record, not even use any type of technology at all, not record it. Then she wouldn't have been caught at the end. Because also too earlier on, prior to the main, I guess, girl, before she found out about the mom on the tape, an older gentleman, which is like the father of the son's best friend, he was also suspect that these two may be the culprits that you find out like literally like 5 minutes before this, but he didn't have any proof. That was the thing, he didn't have any proof. And if, again, they weren't using any type of technology while they were doing all these escapades and killing these people, then they wouldn't have been caught. But yeah, guys, that was the main technology on this, kind of just using old school analog tech with the VHS versus, you know, newer tech, DVDs, all that jazz. Another thing I guess we can talk about briefly is just the editing program. They were editing stuff on like a program I think anybody can use. It kind of looked like they were using Adobe Premiere Pro, to be honest. I think they kind of actually were. So it's kind of cool too, seeing how you can use Adobe Premiere Pro to make like a documentary or a movie style documentary, which was pretty cool. But yeah, this episode didn't really have too much tech at all. Didn't have any future tech like we want to talk about on this. So hopefully in the next episode we can get some more future tech that we can talk about. But yeah, guys, then we'll hear your guys' thoughts on this story too. Did you think it had, I guess, like a resemblance to like other big stories like the Toy Box Killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, things of that nature? And what were your guys' thoughts on the technology on this? Depending on your age, you may not even know what a VHS is. But if you do know what a VHS is, do you still have some? Or have you completely converted to DVDs? Or have you completely converted to the cloud using streaming services and things of that nature? Definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.